I was doing the final check. Are you sure you want to cancel this delivery? I've been saying that from the start. Yes, your company is now definitely going bankrupt. Ah, what a great feeling. As my boss, Steve, burst into laughter, I calmly addressed him. I had been trying to play along until now, but there was no need to be polite with someone so unreasonable. Understood. Thank you for the cancellation, but it's your company that's going bankrupt, not ours. My name is Tom. I'm in my 50s and work in sales for a subcontractor of a clothing manufacturer. We primarily deal with the manufacturing and sales of materials for apparel products. Thankfully, our products are well regarded for their high quality and ease of use, earning us a lot of business from various clients. Especially our recently popular antibacterial fabric, which is one of our company's specialties. Not only does it prevent the growth of bacteria, but it also helps reduce unpleasant odors, winning a lot of support from our customers. We've received high praise from all our clients for our quality, and now our fabric is used in shirts and masks by many well-known companies. It's also popular among medical professionals, and I take pride in selling our products. I was motivated and enjoyed my work, but there was one troubling issue. It was Steve, the representative of a major apparel manufacturer we dealt with. Ever since we started our business relationship, Steve always looked down on us as just a subcontractor. However, we also sell antibacterial hand towels and such online, so we're not solely dependent on Steve. But he always boasts, "Your company became famous because we did business with you. It became a hot topic because a famous brand used your fabric. Shouldn't you be more grateful to us?" Sure, thank you. We truly appreciate the long-standing business with you, Steve. Each time, I would apologize, thinking that all I had to do was endure. Then Steve would seem satisfied and quiet down. This way, there hadn't been any major issues until now. I thought of him as just a bit of a nuisance, but as our sales increased and the volume of business grew, Steve's condescending attitude got worse. And then he began to go off the rails. One day, while I was at the office, I got a call from Steve. "Tom, our new product launched last month, the successful Man's antibacterial, odor-free t-shirt, has been a huge hit. It's all over social media, and we've decided to increase production, so we want to order more of your antibacterial fabric." I could almost see Steve's smug smile through the phone. Congratulations. It's amazing to hear about a production increase so soon after launch. As usual, I humbly expressed my congratulations. Then Steve snorted in a mocking tone. "What? You should be saying, 'Thank you for increasing the business with us. It's because we're spotlighting you that a small company like yours isn't going bankrupt. Always remember to be grateful.'" Steve was more patronizing than ever. I was irritated inside, but I responded as a professional should. "Of course, we're truly grateful to you, Steve, and to your company." "That's right. Never forget that feeling. Now, about the business deal, we're planning to introduce new colors in this production increase." Finally, we started discussing the details of the contract, and I managed to wrap up the conversation. This order turned out to be as big as Steve had boasted. The total amount was an incredible $500,000. For a small company like ours, this was a historic contract since our founding. After finishing the call with Steve, I immediately contacted our production department. We not only had to increase the variety of colors, but also had to rush the delivery date, so it looked like we were going to be very busy. But we coordinated everything to ensure timely delivery and worked together as a team to ramp up production. The trouble started a few days later. Hearing that Steve had called again, I had a bad feeling. As soon as I picked up the receiver, he bluntly stated, $500,000 is too much. Too much, you say? His sudden remark caught me off guard, but it seemed he was saying he wanted it cheaper. You can cut costs more, right? You should be able to make it cheaper with such a large order. No, we've already been offering you a very competitive price. As I explained before, this is the lowest we can go. That's your job as a salesperson, to figure something out. Steve seemed dissatisfied even after my explanation. But I had both the responsibility and confidence to sell our company's products. We're delivering at the lowest price possible without compromising the quality of the product. Our company is the only one that can offer such high-quality fabric at this price. It's already the bare minimum to avoid impacting the delivery schedule. If we go any lower, we won't be able to deliver. I explained earnestly, but this seemed to infuriate Steve even more. What? A mere subcontractor talking big like that? We are the main contractor, you know. It's audacious for someone like you to try to overcharge us. Steve became furious and started making unreasonable accusations. No matter how much I tried to persuade him, Steve kept making outrageous demands and the conversation went nowhere. Finally, I declared firmly, "We appreciate all the business we've had with you, Steve, but this is a fair contract. We cannot agree to any further discounts." Then Steve suddenly changed his tune and started speaking in a more familiar tone. "You've been a subcontractor for so long, don't you feel foolish? It's about time you played it smart. If you keep me happy, I'll keep placing orders with your company. Can't lower the price? Then bring me a gift. It'll cost you less than the contract amount, and securing the next order will be beneficial for you too, right?" In other words, Steve was suggesting I bribe him. I responded firmly, "We cannot accept such a proposal." How rude! I could tell from his voice over the phone that he was displeased, and braced myself for more complaints. But surprisingly, Steve suddenly changed his tone again. "Well, fine. We'll stick to the original $500,000. I'm glad you understand, but what made you change your mind so suddenly?" I was puzzled by his abrupt change in attitude and asked. But Steve just hung up without a word. I wasn't satisfied, but I was relieved we could proceed with the original contract. At that time, I had no idea of the terrible ordeal that was to come. On the day of delivery, the office was in chaos with phones ringing and employees scurrying around. Especially me, the person in charge, was repeatedly asked by President Riley if I had gotten in touch with Steve. I kept trying to contact Steve, turning pale, but he wouldn't answer the phone. It turned out that the truck headed to deliver to Steve's company had been turned away. Hearing that they had unilaterally refused the scheduled delivery, I had a terrible feeling. Finally, Steve called and I grabbed the receiver eagerly. But his words almost made me collapse. "What? Didn't I tell you? I asked another company for the antibacterial fabric. Consider the order from your company canceled." "What do you mean by cancellation?" Steve must have sensed my panic. He began to speak in an almost gleeful tone. "That means we don't need your company's products. I just had your truck turned away." "Wait, what about the $500,000 contract? What? No delivery, no payment. It's your fault for rejecting all my requests. Now you know I have ways to deal with this." I was terribly confused by Steve's words. Before I could say anything, he kept talking smugly from the other end of the phone. Apparently, Steve had already placed an order for antibacterial fabric with another company. The amount they offered was nearly half of ours, $300,000. "So, you were overcharging me. Got similar fabric for $300,000. I consulted with my boss, and we decided to subcontract with them from now on. Guess this means we're done with you." His absurd justification made me dizzy, but I couldn't accept it. It was impossible to prepare that much fabric for $300,000. Even our company was quoting a very tight price. "Excuse me, but was it really a total of $300,000? Are there no additional charges? You're persistent. It's a new company. They really bent over backwards this time. Unlike your company, they know how to treat the main contractor. So, about that truck, consider it canceled." Steve sounded like he was enjoying himself. I finally reached my limit. I had been trying to play along until now, but there was no need to be polite with someone so unreasonable. So, you're really okay with canceling this? If I'm saying it's canceled, then it's canceled. Complaining about it won't change anything. It's your fault for not offering a discount. It seems like Steve is still holding a grudge because I didn't give in to his demands for a discount or bribe. He seems to be reveling in the fact that he's gotten back at me. It's a shame the $500,000 contract fell through. With such a big deal going south, your company is probably going under. Companies with employees who don't value their main contractors should go out of business. It's for the betterment of the industry. I can't wait to see you cry about it. It seems you're really speaking from the heart, Steve. I understand. We will take the appropriate steps on our end. When I responded calmly, Steve laughed uncontrollably and retorted, "What? What can a nearly bankrupt subcontractor possibly do? I'm telling you that you are greatly mistaken. Furthermore, your unreasonable behavior up until now cannot be overlooked. It's time for you to start taking responsibility for your actions, Steve." Even after I said this, it seemed Steve didn't get it. Far from showing any remorse, he only gave flippant responses, further provoking me. I did one final check. "So, you're really sure about canceling this delivery, right? I've been telling you that from the start. Yes, your company is definitely going bankrupt. Oh, what a great feeling." As Steve burst into laughter, I calmly addressed him. "Understood. Thank you for the cancellation, but it will be your company going bankrupt, not ours." My response must have been unexpected. Steve stopped laughing and muttered, "Huh," before falling silent. I didn't mind and proceeded to give instructions to my team. "Everyone in the office, the contract has now been officially canceled. Please proceed with the necessary procedures." I announced it loudly enough for Steve to hear over the phone. He was sensing something unusual. Steve started to say something in a panic, but I hung up without waiting. A few days later, Steve called back. "Hey, it's me. I'll recontract with you, so bring the products over now. I'll buy everything this time. Hurry up," he was shouting as soon as the call connected. I calmly replied, "It's been a while. Our dealings with your company have concluded, but what can I do for you today? I'm saying I'll contract with you again. Stop being stubborn and bring the products over now." It seems the situation was as I expected. I asked politely, yet with a smirk, "But I thought the contract was canceled." "Yeah, but I think your products might still be useful, so I'll recontract. Stop arguing and bring them over today. You must have some left over, right? Be grateful I'm buying them." Steve's arrogant attitude hadn't changed at all. I was completely fed up. "Unfortunately, the products you canceled have already been purchased by another company." When I mentioned the company's name, Steve let out a strained cry. "What? You contracted with our rival company? You've forgotten all the favors I've done for you over the years. There's no need to worry about our bankruptcy. We've already secured a long-term contract with them. Goodbye." As I was about to hang up, I heard Steve's panicked voice, but I put down the receiver anyway. A few hours later, Steve unexpectedly showed up at our company. Sweating and desperate, he approached me aggressively. "Please, deliver those products to us. Even if it's just what you have now, bring them over immediately. As I said, they've already been delivered to another company. We don't have any excess stock." "Then there are no products left. Damn it, then you should come to our company and apologize. Production has stopped because of you. You fix this. Don't be unreasonable. It was your decision to cancel the contract. Besides, you should have purchased the necessary fabric from the new company, right? You were boasting about it just the other day." When I pointed this out, Steve suddenly fell silent. Internally thinking I knew it, I continued. "I've heard not so great things about that new company. Their quotes are low, but they only deliver poor quality products or ones that don't meet the standards. Did they give you defective items, Steve? You knew about this. Why didn't you tell me?" Steve became defensive upon hearing this. Their inferior products had no antibacterial function, and the colors were completely different from what we specified. And not just that, the person in charge ran off with the money. The money? Are you talking about the $300,000 contract amount? I blurted out in surprise, and Steve collapsed on the spot, wailing. It's all because you didn't lower your price. What are you going to do about this? The new company's contract stated that any product can't be returned in exchange for the low price. If we can't continue production, my boss will find out what I've done. The new contact person, after the previous one ran off with the money, says the company wasn't aware of such a contract. It was all the former contact person's doing. I'm really in trouble. If this continues, I'll be fired. Even after causing so much trouble for his company, it seems Steve is only concerned about his own career. No, I can't take responsibility for your issues. The cancellation of the contract was initiated by you, Steve. Plus, our company has already signed a new contract with another company. We no longer have any dealings with you. Finally, it seemed Steve understood his situation. He looked at me in panic and said, I might have gone too far before. I apologize for that. So, could you please deliver the products? Even just what you have now, please. You'll bill us later, right? We have a long history, you and I, Tom, right? After looking down on us for so long, he changed his attitude completely when he found himself in trouble. I had no intention of being kind to Steve. You've been treating us like just a subcontractor, forcefully conducting business. Have you forgotten the last-minute cancellation without any notice? When I spoke firmly, Steve seemed uncomfortable. Mumbling something, he looked down. As I said earlier, our company has already contracted with a new company. Far from facing bankruptcy, our client base has expanded, and our business is thriving. The one in trouble seems to be your company, with the damages from the contract you messed up. Anyway, there's nothing I can do for you. I conveyed this calmly, and Steve looked even more downcast. But there was one more thing I had to tell him. Also, I'm not sure if you forgot, but did you check the cancellation clause in our contract with your company? Cancellation clause, what about it? You better check it quickly. If a contract is canceled without a valid reason, our company will claim damages. According to our policy, the cancellation fee on the day of is 100% of the total contract amount. The payment is due 30 days after the cancellation, so please check it. 100%, he muttered and then fell silent. He must have been shocked speechless. On top of the $300,000 the previous contact person at the new company ran off with, now there's a $500,000 damage claim from us. It's an amount Steve couldn't handle. I can't pay that. That's not my concern. You better go back to your company and consult with your boss, but doing so will reveal that you unilaterally terminated the contract with our company and even asked for a bribe. I continued speaking to Steve, suppressing a laugh. It's because you looked down on us, thinking we were just a subcontractor and your company was doing us a favor. Now you're going to have a tough time, Steve. Brace yourself and take responsibility for your actions. My words seemed to be the last straw. Steve stood up with a pale face and staggered out. Revealing everything to his company would surely lead to severe reprimands. Later, I heard through the grapevine that indeed, all the products Steve had independently ordered from the other company were defective. Further investigation revealed that those products lacked the essential antibacterial function. The former contact person at that company had absconded with the $300,000. The fact that Steve forced an unreasonable contract on our company, asked for bribes, and then canceled on the day was also exposed. Steve was fired for causing significant losses to his company. Of course, our company claimed damages. Steve had a wife, but she was furious about his blunder and divorced him. She had already returned to her parents' home. Steve sold his house and all his assets and disappeared. Ken, Steve's successor, was the complete opposite of him, a very earnest person. He came to our company to apologize for the trouble caused by Steve and to clean up his mess. I know it's a lot to ask, but could you please consider restarting our contract with your company? Our antibacterial, odor-free t-shirt series can't be made without your excellent antibacterial fabric. Hearing this, our President Riley seemed to calm his anger. The contract was officially resumed, and we're receiving more orders than ever. Furthermore, because of my role in acquiring a new major client during this turmoil, I was promoted. Despite all the trouble Steve caused over the years, I might have to thank him for this outcome. I renewed my determination to continue working with pride in our products and in my sales job.